dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply. One day. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream. One day. I still have a dream. One day. This nation will rise up. I still have a dream. One day. This nation will rise up. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream. One day. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream. One day. I still have a dream. One day. This nation will rise up. I still have a dream. One day. This nation will rise up. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream. One day. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply. One day. I still have a dream. One day. This nation will rise up. I still have a dream. One day. This nation will rise up. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream. One day. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. I still have a dream. 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 I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. 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 One day. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply. One day. I still have a dream. One day. This nation will rise up. I still have a dream. One day. This nation will rise up. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream. One day. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream. One day. I still have a dream. One day. This nation will rise up. I still have a dream. One day. This nation will rise up. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream. One day. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream. One day. I still have a dream. One day. This nation will rise up. I still have a dream. One day. This nation will rise up. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still. It is a dream. One day. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. I still. It is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply one day. I still have a dream. One day this nation will rise up. I still have a dream. One day this nation will rise up. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply one day. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last. I still have a dream. I still have a dream. I still have a dream. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply one day. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply rooted. I still it is a dream deeply one day. I still have a dream. One day this nation will rise up. I still
get down.
Chop rice. There's no meat. Chop rice.
So much more.
There's no meat.
What's up? What's up? So much movement. I'm discombobulated. Wait, what's that sound effect? I can hear something. I think I hear me. Where is that noise coming from? Oh no, that was me. It's me. It's me. Relax. False alarm. I sound kind of quiet though. Is it because I'm not talking into the mic? Yeah, it's because I'm not talking into the mic. It's always a thing testing out your equipment again. Alright, I got some work to do. And I wanted to listen to some of MLK's best speeches while I work. So there's that. I wonder what screen I could show you guys though. Gang, what's good? What's up, TikTok? I see we're not banned. TikTok. What's up? Did I want to have a Insta? Wait. But why? Testing. Okay, I see. Huh, that's interesting. I never thought about that. I never thought about like a situation where somebody wants to know what I'm saying, but they can't. Am I being ableist? Hold on. No, valid points. Valid points. I truthfully never even. I truthfully never even knew that was a thing. How do I turn on? Wait, what is going on? Okay. How do I turn on accessibilities on my? Thank you. Okay. Hey, yo, there's nothing greater than when someone asks you to do something. Hey, yo, what up, Daily Beavers? It's so great when someone asks you, hey, so someone just told me, someone majestic and lovely just told me that, hey, you know what would be cool, hero? If you had captions on your stream. And I was like, why would someone want to hear me talk but rather read it? And then it dawned on me immediately as the last syllable left these luscious lips. I was like, oh wait, there are deaf people in the world. In fact, hero, one of your main characters in your comic books is deaf. And I was just sitting here, I was like, every time I sit here and I'm drawing the hand signs, I want to complain, but then I'm like, could you just imagine how every other person who actually is deaf experiences life like this. So it's a very humbling experience, but that's part of like, what's the word I'm looking for? That's the part of accessibility and the difference between sympathy and empathy, you know? What up? What do I do on this channel? Traditionally, I code with strangers. My name's Hero. This is Coding with Strangers. We are here early morning doing some more design documents. I have my first project that I want to complete, so we'll be designing the documents. Today I have the day off, but I got to catch up on a lot of work. Not a huddle. Other than that, primarily this channel is surrounded around me lying on my resume for the first time and getting a tech job, and then learning how to code, and then getting a tech job using the skills that I got off of the lie. Does that make sense? I'm here to help. I'm here to help make your workday go a little bit better in the tech verse. In addition to that, today's Martin Luther King Day. Clap it up for the king. Clap it up for the king. Hey, what's up, Ren? TikTok man feels like a public publicity stunt at this stage. Absolutely. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Hey, but we'll take a publicity stunt any day of the week. We're going to try and finish up some of these design documents. And then, hey, look out, Captain. And then, but, you know, this time around I can talk to you guys the whole day. No meetings today, so it's just the two of us. We can make it if you try. Just the two of us. You and I. I wonder if I can do that right now. Okay, hold on. Let's do this real quick. That's such a good point. It's important to have good friends. Because if you don't have good friends, then you'll miss opportunities where people, hey, yo, JK, what's up? All the people in the race. I see y'all in the race with Willow, though. Hey, Danger, what's good, baby? Here go all my social medias and cool stuff like that. I wonder why the comic link isn't working anymore. What the fuck I do to that? Uh, real quick, I dropped. Yeah, let's go to the show real quick, and then we'll come back. We'll come back to it real quick. I dropped the last chapter. Is it the last chapter? It's the last chapter of this sequence of book 3. So book 3 started back November 9th. Got one out few days later, and then another one just recently, 7 days ago, last week, but I didn't really have a chance to talk about last week. I was super busy. First week of work, second week of work, got really busy. But the chapter's out, no spoilers. Oh wait, a few spoilers. No, I was reading it. We'll sync to the top. Sync to the top. Yeah, first chapter's out. Third chapter's out. Gave some sketches. A lot of people might remember this illustration from my first video essay on anime. And I was saying, it was basically talking about the ending of Jujutsu Kaisen versus the ending of My Hero Academia. Some book 1 illustrations. It's just crazy to see how like much my skill set has increased. Like, there's just such a clear difference. This is today. So, but this is out right now. It's out for the people. It's out for the people. Go check it out. But I want to try and do something real quick. Need the other screen. Twitch has an Twitch has an extension. Let me activate it and deactivate it. Only compatible with Twitch, doesn't work on VODs, only when you're live. Okay, may cause issues with mobile viewers to read captions. Okay. I did it. I need to put this over here. I wonder if this will work in real time, which would be nice if it did. I was in the hospital. Okay. That's half the battle. Uppercase text by default. Display caption box. Display unless I receive. Can someone confirm to me on Twitch if my click to start capture. Oh wait, oh okay, I get it. I see how this shit works. Okay. I need to. Oh shit. Oh wait, I can check on Twitch. Who's watching on Twitch on their desktop? Oh wait. Quick start. Okay, I already have that installed. And start sending click should allow microphone permission. Double check if you correct microphone settings. And click here for more detailed instructions. I just wanna fly. Put your hands around my baby. Hey yo, what's up? Get some food? How you doing? Okay, I don't see the words. But I also think it's because like I have all that stuff blocked on my channel. Said you've been better. Your brother's in jail. Your brother's in jail. What did he do? See, I don't do that whole just free my homeboy. Because depending on what your homeboy did, his ass might need to stay in jail. But I'm not for incarceration, but there's some motherfuckers that need to be in jail. Trespassing? That's the misdemeanor. Well, hopefully that can be resolved and, it's not a total burden. But you said you got stuck on the website? What part did you get stuck on? Okay, I think this caption thing would normally work before I start my stream. It doesn't seem to be capturing anything. Also, it might be like third-party shit. Yeah. We'll see if it kicks in later on, but we'll keep it open. Oh wait. Take me to my channel. Never meant to make your mom cry. I apologize for Julie Dive. Sorry, Miss Jackson. Woo, I am for real. Yeah, I don't think there's. I think it's just because I started it before. I started my stream before I started this. But it does say it's recording me, so it's kind of strange that may not be saved. Oh, I didn't save it? Where do I save it? Translate your English words to pirate words. Who would want to do that? Oh, God. A phone number that starts with 1234 just called me. So my information has been leaked somewhere, and I'm literally being thrown through the Crenshaws. Receive it. Yeah, why not? Okay. All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure. Well, he got trespassed at your home, so technically homeless now. Well, it sounds like okay. It sounds like a lot is going on, right? Get some food. A lot is going on. But in order for you to solve that issue with, como se dice, the web app, you got to get your home situation settled, right? Now, as a big brother, oh wait, you're in an ad? Okay. Someone type in the chat, let me know when you're back. Hey, yo. Coder Girl Chan. Thanks for the follow. That's a cool name. All right, we're going to listen to some of my favorite speeches from Martin Luther King because there's nothing else important happening today, right? Right? There's nothing else important happening today. Man, I need to turn back on streamer mode. I always forget how to turn back on streamer mode. Can I just search it? Fuck. Is that not an option? Oh, search. Yeah, it is. Streamer mode. There it is. Alright, cool. Alright, fill every piece of this Martin Luther King.
From which to preach the drum major instinct. The drum
I can't hear it.
major instinct.
Oh, there it is.
And our text for the morning is taken
Oh, wait.
from a
So, as I was saying about your situation, get some food. It sounds like a lot is going on in your life. And what is life if not to be challenged? You know, there are many great people who have managed to make it through life never experiencing challenge. And we're not mad at those people. But we do give them the side eye. But for those that endure, the many, stronger they will be. So you got to focus in. You really got to focus in and make sure that situations that you're dealing with on your personal side aren't being exacerbated by people in your immediate circle, right? Now, I don't know what the situation is for your brother, and I'm assuming that you are giving him a helping hand, and that help that you've been giving just happened to bite you, right? So it's messed you up and it's messed them up, but they were already on the downtrodden. Now you have to rebound. So you can't really fill someone else's cup up if your shit ain't full. Trying to fill someone else's cup with your shit being half full, it's just not gonna work. All right, it's just not gonna work. Can I edit the layout? I can. But ultimately, I trust your judgment. I trust your judgment, and I trust your tenacity to find your way out of this. But you got to take care of yourself. Please take care of yourself, right? Too many people are depending on you to make it. I'll be okay. I want to be me, and he'll be okay. Okay, all right. All right, good. If you feel that confident, that makes me feel better, right? And ultimately, at the end of the day, you told this story not to help the world. You said it to make me feel better. So thank you. I appreciate you. The people.
The people.
Appreciate you. You want to get your site going on? Is this year? Yeah, you said something about it. You said I need to make a page for server responses from PayPal and Twitch. You need an API to do that. I know there's one in Python, but I'm not sure if there's one in Java. I don't know how to do it in JavaScript, but I'm pretty sure if it was done in Python, it was already done in JavaScript. There's got to be an API for that or some type of module. Smarter people have figured it out. Yeah. Not being in jail is always going to be a great thing. Top tier, dare I say. Top 10 things I enjoy. I have to say, leaps and bounds ahead of the list. Not being in jail. It's got to be top tier. Top tier stuff. Quality stuff. You're smart. Want to help with the API calls? Thank you. One, I appreciate it. Two, I don't know if I'll have that type of time. This is the third week of me on the new job, and I'm currently about to start writing. I'm currently writing design documents right now. I haven't been able to code on stream since November 20th. And it's not that I haven't been coding, it's just I'm just too busy with work. But I mean, there's definitely people. Go to the Discord, go to the community.
Get down.
All right. The community won't let you down. Go to the community, fam. Fam, you said you're in jail? Oh, you were on the stream when I got my job? Yeah, I haven't coded I've been coding. It's one of the weirder things I've ever had to experience.
Very familiar passage in the 10th chapter as recorded by St. Mark. Beginning with the
Would it be
36th
disrespectful if I
verse
listened to Dr. King in double speed?
that chapter, we read these words.
I code every day,
James and John, the sons of Zebedee,
but literally,
came unto him, saying, Master, we would that thou shouldest do for us
I can't code it
whatsoever
on the screen
we
because
shall
of my
desire.
job. It's one of the interesting dynamics I've ever
Said unto
experienced.
them, what would ye that I should do for you? And they said unto him, Grant unto us that we may sit, one on thy right hand and the other on thy left hand in thy glory. But Jesus said unto them, Ye know not what ye ask. Can ye drink of the cup that I drink of?
Okay. I just want to see if we put Martin Luther King, because he does all old timey. Let me wash my goddamn mouth. But But all old timey people, they just speak with this lethargic, like the longer their speech is, the more they get paid. Now, I just want to see what he sounds like at 1.25.
Be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. And they said unto him, We can. And Jesus said unto them, Ye shall indeed drink of the cup that I drink of.
That's not bad.
And with the baptism that I am baptized withal shall ye be baptized. But to sit on my right hand and on my left hand is not mine to give.
It does. Okay. See, I was waiting for approval, but it sounds better. It sounds better. We're going to do it.
Jesus goes on toward the end of that passage to say, But so shall it not be among you. But whosoever will be great among you shall be your servant. And whosoever of you will be the chiefest shall be servant of all. The setting is clear.
Yeah, there's a lot going on today. But like I always say, you get to control what you care about. You don't get to control what happens.
They had dreamed, as most of the Hebrews dreamed, of a coming king of Israel who would set Jerusalem free and establish his kingdom on Mount Zion and in righteousness rule the world. And they thought of Jesus as this kind of king, and they were thinking of that day when Jesus would reign supreme as this new king of Israel. And they were saying, now, when you establish your kingdom, let one of us sit on the right hand and the other on the left hand of your throne. Now, very quickly, we would automatically condemn James and John, and we would say they were selfish. Why would they make such a selfish request? But before we condemn them too quickly, let us look calmly and honestly at ourselves, and we will discover that we too have those same basic desires for recognition, for importance, that same desire for attention, that same desire to be first. Of course, the other disciples got mad with James and John, and you can understand why, but we must understand that we have some of the same James and John qualities. And that is deep down within all of us an instinct. It's a kind of drum major instinct, a desire to be out front, a desire to lead the parade, a desire to be first.
A desire to be first.
It is something that runs the whole gamut of life. So before we condemn them, let us see that we all have the drum major instinct. We all want to be important, to surpass others, to achieve distinction, to lead the parade. Alfred Adler, the great psychoanalyst, contends that this is the dominant impulse. Sigmund Freud used to contend that sex was the dominant impulse, and Adler came with a new argument saying that this quest for recognition, this desire for attention, this desire for distinction is the basic impulse, the basic drive of human life, this drum major instinct. And you know, we began earlier to ask life to put us first. Our first cry as a baby was a bid for attention. And all through childhood, the drum major impulse or instinct is a major obsession. Children ask life to grant them first place. They are a little bundle of ego. They have innately the drum major impulse or the drum major instinct. Now, in adult life, we still have it, and we really never get by it. We like to do something good, and you know, we like to be praised for it. Now, if you don't believe that, You just go on living life, and you will discover very soon that you like to be praised. Everybody likes it, as a matter of fact. And somehow this warm glow we feel when we are praised or when our name is in print is something of the vitamin A to our ego. Nobody is unhappy when they are praised, even if they know they don't deserve it, and even if they don't believe it. The only unhappy people about praise is when that praise is going too much towards somebody else. But everybody likes to be praised because of this real drum major instinct. Now, the presence of the drum major instinct is why so many people are joiners. You know, there are some people who just join everything. And it's really a quest for attention and recognition and importance. And they get names that give them that impression. So you get your groups, and they become the grand patron. And the little fellow who is henpecked at home needs a chance to be the most worthy of something. It is the drum major impulse and longing that runs the gamut of human life. And so we see it everywhere, this quest for recognition. And we join things, overjoin really, that we think that we will find that recognition in. The presence of this instinct explains why we are so often taken by advertisers. You know, those gentlemen of massive verbal persuasion. And they have a way of saying things to you that kind of gets you in the bind. In order to be a man of distinction, you must drink this whiskey. In order to make your neighbors envious, you must drive this type of car. In order to be lovely to love, you must wear this kind of lipstick or this kind of perfume. And you know, before you know it, you're just buying that stuff. That's the way the advertisers do it. I got a letter the other day, and it was a magazine coming out and opened up. Dear Dr. King, as you know, you are on many mailing lists, and you are categorized as highly intelligent, progressive, a lover of the arts and the sciences, and I know you will want to read what I have to say. Of course I did. After you said all of that and explained me so exactly, of course I wanted to read it. But very seriously, it goes.
Have you ever heard Martin Luther King laugh? That was a great moment. That was a great moment in this speech that I love this so much. And it's a question I always pose to kids when people ask me, like, oh, what's your favorite Martin Luther King speech? And I always say the drum major instinct. And there's another one that I really enjoy. But the reason why I like this one so much is because as a kid growing up, I didn't learn about Martin Luther King. And it wasn't until like I got to like high school that I learned about him. And it was because I came to America. He's popular in other countries, but he's known for other things. He's known for being a radical. But there are, for all intents and purposes, there are far more radical people in the world for good. So he's kind of low on that list, but in America, he's a very digestible version of radicalism, a controlled version of radicalism. But one of my favorite speeches is the drum major instinct, is because during the drum major instinct, it was playing this for a kid is extremely boring, and it makes no sense. But while I was listening to this as a kid, I remember hearing him laugh, and I burst out laughing. And somebody was like, "What's so funny?" And I was like, "I've never heard Martin Luther King laugh." Have you ever heard Martin Luther King laugh? That's a rare opportunity to hear him laugh.
In order to be lovely to love, you must wear this kind of lipstick or this kind of perfume. And you know, before you know it, you're just buying that stuff. That's the way the advertisers do it. I got a letter the other day, and it was a magazine coming out and opened up. Dear Dr. King, as you know, you are on many mailing lists, and you are categorized as highly intelligent, progressive, a lover of the arts and the sciences, and I know you will want to read what I have to say. Of course I did. After you said all of that and explained me so exactly, of course I wanted to read it. But very seriously, it goes through life. The drum major instinct is real. And you know what else happen to happen? It often causes us to live above our means. It's nothing but the drum major instinct. You ever see people buy cars that they can't even begin to buy in terms of their income. You've seen people riding around in Cadillacs and Chrysler who don't earn enough to have a good T Model 4. But it feeds a repressed ego. You know, economists tell us that your automobile should not cost more than half of your annual income. So if you make an income of $5,000, your car shouldn't cost more than about $2,500. That's just good economics. And if it's a family of two and both members of the family make $10,000, they would have to make out with one car. That would be good economics, although it's often inconvenient. But so often, haven't you seen people making $5,000 a year and driving a car that costs $6,000, and they wonder why their ends never meet? That's a fact. Now, the economists also say that your house shouldn't cost, if you're buying a house, it shouldn't cost more than twice your income. That's based on the economy and how you would make ends meet. So if you have an income of $5,000, it's kind of difficult in this society, but say it's a family with an income of $10,000, the house shouldn't cost much more than $20,000. Well, I've seen folk making $10,000 living in $40,000 and $50,000 houses. And you know, they just barely make it. They get a check every month somewhere, and they owe all of that out before it comes in. Never have anything to put away for rainy days. But now the problem is, it is the drum major instinct. And you know, you see people over and over again with the drum major instinct taking them over, and they just live their lives trying to outdo the Jones. They got to get this coat because this particular coat is a little better and a little better looking than Mary's coat. And I've got to drive this car because it's something about this car that makes my car a little better than my neighbor's car. I know a man who used to live in a $35,000 house, and other people started building $35,000 houses, so he built a $75,000 house, and then somebody else built a $75,000 house, and he built a $100,000 house, and I don't know where he's going to end up if he's going to live his life trying to keep up with the Joneses. There comes a time that the drum major instinct can become destructive. And that's where I want to move now. I want to move to the point of saying that if this instinct is not harnessed, it becomes
General Data Protection Regulatory Regulations.
Personality to become distorted. I guess that's the most damaging aspect of it, what it does to the personality. If it isn't harnessed, you will end up day in and day out trying to deal with your ego problem by boasting. Have you ever heard people that, you know, and I'm sure you've met them, that really become sickening because they just sit up all the time talking about themselves. And they just boast and boast and boast. And that's a person who has not harnessed the drum major instinct.
When people ask me why I'm so humble, it's because of this.
It causes you to lie about who you know sometimes. There are some people who are influence peddlers. And in that attempt to deal with the drum major instinct, they have to try to identify with the so-called big-name people. If you're not careful, they will make you think they know somebody that they don't really know. They know them well. They sip tea with them, and they this and that. That happens to people. And the other thing is that it causes one to engage ultimately in activities that are merely used to get attention. Criminologists tell us that some people are driven to crime because of this drum major instinct. They don't feel that they're getting enough attention through the normal channels of social behavior. And so they turn to antisocial behavior in order to get attention, in order to feel important. So they get that gun, and before they know it, they rob the bank in a quest for recognition and a quest for importance. And then the final great tragedy of the distorted personality is the fact that when one fails to harness this instinct, he ends up trying to push others down in order to push himself up. Whenever you do that, you engage in some of the most vicious activities. You will spread evil, vicious, lying gossip on people because you're trying to pull them down in order to push yourself up. The great issue of life is to harness the drum major instinct. Now, the other problem is, when you don't harness the drum major instinct, this uncontrolled aspect of it is that it leads to snobbish exclusivism. Leads to snobbish exclusivism. Now, you know, this is the danger of social clubs and fraternities. I'm in a fraternity. I'm in 2 or 3. For sororities, all of these. I'm not talking against them. I'm saying it's the danger. The danger is that they can become forces of classism and exclusivism, where somehow you get a degree of satisfaction because you are in something exclusive, and that's fulfilling something, you know. And I'm in this fraternity, and it's the best fraternity in the world, and everybody can't get in this fraternity.
Mm.
So it ends up, you know, a very exclusive kind of thing. And you know, that can happen with the church. I know churches get in that bind sometimes. I've been to churches, you know, and they say, we have so many doctors and so many school teachers and so many lawyers and so many businessmen in our church. And that's fine, because doctors need to go to church, and lawyers and businessmen, teachers, they ought to be in church. But they say that, even the preacher sometimes will go all through that. They say that as if the other people don't count. The church is the one place where the doctor ought to forget that he's a doctor. The church is the one place where the PhD ought to forget that he's a PhD. The church is the one place that the school teacher ought to forget the degree she has behind her name. The church is the one place where the lawyer ought to forget that he's a lawyer. Any church that violates the whosoever will let him come doctrine is a dead church, and nothing but a little show with a thin of religiosity. The church is true to its truth. So it will let him come. Whosoever will let him come. It does not supposed to satisfy the perverted uses of the drum major instinct. It's the one place where everybody should be the same, standing before a common master and savior. Recognition grows out of this that all men are brothers because they are children of a common father. Some instinct lead to exclusivist one thing. Lead one deal can lead one to feel that because he has some training, he's a little better than that person who doesn't have it. Or because he has some economic security, that he's a little better than that person who doesn't have it. That's the uncontrolled, perverted use of the drum major instinct. Now, the other thing is that it leads to tragic, we've seen it happen so often, tragic race prejudice.
This recording is briefly interrupted at this point.
We see with our own eyes. In fact, not too long ago, a man down in Mississippi said that God was a charter member of the White Citizens Council. And so, God being the charter member means that everybody who's in that has a kind of divinity, a kind of superiority. Think of what has happened in history as a result of this perverted use of the drum major instinct. Led to the most tragic prejudice, the most tragic expressions of man's inhumanity to man. The other day I was saying, I always try to do a little converting when I'm in jail. When we were in jail in Birmingham the other day, the white wardens and all enjoyed coming around the cell to talk about the race problem. And they were showing us where we were so wrong demonstrating, and they were showing us where segregation was so right. And they were showing us where intermarriage was so wrong. So I would get to preaching, and we would get to talking calmly because they wanted to talk about it. And then we got down one day to the point, that was the second or third day, to talk about where they lived and how much they were earning. And when those brothers told me what they were earning, I said, now, you know what? You ought to be marching with us. You the
Hey.
Negro.
Hey.
And I said,
This right here, this part right here, is something that we talk about even till today. The poorest white man will fight for the richest white man just because he thinks he has a shot. It's crazy. King was saying back then, y'all should be marching with us.
position of supporting your oppressor. Because through prejudice and blindness, you fail to see that the same forces that oppress Negroes in American society oppress poor white people. And all you are living on is the satisfaction of your skin being white and the drum major instinct of thinking that you are somebody big because you're white. And you're so poor you can't send your children to school. You ought to be out here marching with every one of us every time we have a march. Now that's a fact. Poor white has been put into this position where through blindness and prejudice, he is forced to support his oppressors. And the only thing he has going for him is a false feeling that he's superior because his skin is white and can't hardly eat and make his ends meet week in and week out. Now, not only does it stop, and not only does this thing go into the racial struggle, it goes into the struggle between nations. I would submit to you this morning that what is wrong in the world today is that the nations of the world are engaged in a bitter, colossal contest for supremacy. Something doesn't happen to stop this trend, I'm sorely afraid that we won't be here to talk about Jesus Christ and about God and about brotherhood too many more years. If somebody doesn't bring an end to this suicidal thrust that we see in the world today, none of us are going to be around.
I don't think racism is as bad as it was compared to the 90s and pre-2000s.
A nuclear bomb somewhere, and then another one is going to drop.
I don't think you have enough knowledge to say that.
This can happen within a matter of seconds. They have 20 megaton bombs in Russia right now that can destroy a city as big as New York in 3 seconds with everybody wiped away in every building. And we can do the same thing to Russia and China. But this is where we are drifted, and we are drifting there. Because nations are caught up with the drum major instinct. I must be first. I must be supreme. Our nation must rule the world. And I am sad to say that the nation in which we live is the supreme culprit. And I'm going to continue to say it to America. Because I love this country too much to see the drift that it has taken. God didn't call America to do what she's doing in the world now. God didn't call America to engage in a senseless, unjust war as a war in Vietnam. And we are criminals in that war. We have committed more war crimes almost than any nation in the world. And I'm going to continue to say it. And we won't stop it because of our pride and our arrogance as a nation. God has a way of even putting nations in their place. God that I worship has a way of saying, don't play with me. He has a way of saying, the God of the Old Testament used to say, the Hebrews, don't play with me, Israel. Don't play with me.
People be like, there's no way I would have marched back then, or there's no way that I would have been like attacked by dogs or hit with fire hoses, but how do you not listen to this? Let me listen to this right now. I feel like I could run through 1,000 brick walls. Imagine back then. Oh man.
Babylon, be still and know that I'm God. If you don't stop your reckless course, I'll rise up and break the backbone of your power. That can happen to America. Every now and then I go back and read Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. And when I come and look at America, I say to myself, the parallels are frightening. We have perverted the drum major instinct. But let me rush on to my conclusion because I want you to see what Jesus was really saying. What was the answer that Jesus gave these men? It's very interesting. One would have thought that Jesus would have condemned them. One would have thought that Jesus would have said, you're out of your place, you're selfish, why would you raise such a question? But that isn't what Jesus did. He did something altogether different. He said in substance, oh, I see. You want to be first? You want to be great? You want to be important? You want to be significant? Well, you ought to be. If you're going to be my disciple, you must be. But he reordered priorities. He said, yes, don't give up this instinct. It's a good instinct if you use it right. It's a good instinct if you don't distort it and pervert it. Don't give it up. Keep feeling the need for being important. Keep feeling the need for being first. I want you to be first in love. I want you to be first in moral excellence. I want you to be first in generosity. That is what I want you to do. He transformed the situation by giving a new definition of greatness. And you know how he said it? He said, now, brethren, I can't give you greatness. And really, I can't make you first. This is what Jesus said to James and John. You must earn it. True greatness comes not by favoritism, but by fitness. And the right hand and the left are not mine to give. They belong to those who are prepared. And so Jesus gave us a new norm of greatness. If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. This morning, the thing that I like about it, by giving that definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great. Because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics in physics to serve. You only need a
It does help, though.
full of grace. Soul generated by love. You can be that servant. I know a man, and I just want to talk about him a minute, and maybe you will discover who I'm talking about as I go down the way. Because he was a great one. He just went about serving. He was born in an obscure village, a child of a poor peasant woman.
Grocery shopping, I did that yesterday. Enjoy. I mean, you can do both. If you don't do cardio today, you can't buy any sweets. You gotta punish yourself.
He just got on his feet, and he was an itinerant preacher. And he went about doing some things. He didn't have much. He never wrote a book. He never held an office.
Yeah, put the Odins on you.
He never owned a house.
Put the Odins on
Never
you.
went to college. He never visited a big city. He never went 200 miles from where he was born. He did none of the usual things that the world would associate with greatness.
45 minutes? Damn.
No credentials, but himself.
I don't think that's funny. I think that's impressive. Oh, it was guilt cardio. Oh, okay. It was guilt cardio. Hey, nothing wrong with guilt cardio. I'll guilt myself into doing 3 miles.
They said he was an agitator. He practiced civil disobedience. He broke injunctions. And so he was turned over to his enemies and went through the mockery of a trial. And the irony of it all is that his friends turned him over to them. One of his closest friends denied him. Another of his friends turned him over to his enemies. And while he was dying, the people
BRB
who killed
will
him
be here.
gambled for his clothing, the only possession that he had in the world. When he was dead, he was buried in a borrowed tomb through the pity of a friend. 19 centuries have come and gone. Today, he stands as the most influential figure that ever entered human history. All the armies that ever marched, all the navies that ever sailed, all parts that ever, all kings that ever reigned together, not put together, have not affected the life of man on this earth as much as that one solitary life. His name may be a familiar one, but today I can hear him talking about him. Every now and then somebody says he's King of Kings. And again I can hear somebody saying he's Lord of Lords. Somewhere else I can hear somebody saying, in Christ there is no east nor west. Then they go on and talk about in him there's no north and south, but one great fellowship of love throughout the whole wide world. He didn't have anything. He just went around serving and doing good. This morning, you can be on his right hand and his left hand if you serve. It's the only way in. Every now and then, I guess all think risky about that day when we will be victimized with what is life's final common denominator. That's something we call death. We all think about it, and every now and then I think about my own death, and I think about my own funeral, and I don't think of it in a morbid sense. Every now and then I ask myself, what is it? But I would want to say it, and I leave the word to you this morning. If any of you are around when I have to meet my day, I don't want a long funeral. And if you get somebody to deliver the eulogy, tell them not to talk too long. Every now and then I wonder what I want them to say. Tell them not to mention that I have a Nobel Peace Prize. That isn't important. Tell them not to mention that I have 300 or 400 other awards. That's not important. Tell them not to mention where I went to school. I'd like somebody to mention that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to give his life serving others. I'd like for somebody to say that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to love somebody. I want you to say that day that I tried to be right on the war question. I want you to be able to say that day that I did try to feed the hungry. I want you to be able to say that day that I did try in my life to clothe those who were naked. I want you to say on that day that I did try in my life to visit those who were in prison. I want you to say that I tried to love and serve humanity. Yes, if you want to say that I was a drum major, say that I was a drum major for justice. Say that I was a drum major for peace. I was a drum major for righteousness. And all of the other shallow things will not matter. I won't have any money to leave behind. I won't have the fine and luxurious things of life to leave behind. But I just want to leave a committed life behind. And that's all I want to say. If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word of song, if I can show somebody he's traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain. If I can do my duty as a Christian, or if I can bring salvation to a world once wrought, if I can spread the message as the Master taught, then my living will not be in vain. Yes, Jesus, I want to be on your right or your left side, not for any selfish reason. I want to be on your right or your left side, not in terms of some political kingdom or ambition, but I just want to be there in love and in justice and in truth and in commitment to others so that we can make the whole world a new world.
Bitcoin is crashing.
Dr. Abernathy, our distinguished Vice President, fellow delegates to this, the 10th annual session of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, my brothers and sisters from not only all over the South, but from all over the United States of America. 10 years ago, during the piercing chill of a January day and on the heels of the year-long Montgomery bus boycott, a group of approximately 100 Negro leaders from across the South assembled in this church and agreed on the need for an organization to be formed that could serve as a channel through which local protest organizations in the South could coordinate their protest activities. It was this meeting that gave birth to the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. When our organization was formed 10 years ago, racial segregation was still a structured part of the architecture of Southern society. Negroes with the pangs of hunger and the anguish of thirst were denied access to the average lunch counter. The downtown restaurants were still off limits for the black man. Negroes burdened with the fatigue of travel were still barred from the motels of the highways and the hotels of the cities. Negro boys and girls in dire need of recreational activities were not allowed to inhale the fresh air of the big city parks. Negroes in desperate need of allowing their mental buckets to sink deep into the wells of knowledge were confronted with a firm no when they sought to use the city libraries. 10 years ago, legislative halls of the South were still ringing loud with such words as interposition and nullification. All types of conniving methods were still being used to keep the Negro from becoming a registered voter. A decade ago, not a single Negro entered the legislative chambers of the South except as a porter or a chauffeur. 10 years ago, all too many Negroes were still harried by day and haunted by night by a corroding sense of fear and a nagging sense of nobodiness. But things are different now. In assault after assault, we cause the sagging walls of segregation to come tumbling down. During this era, the entire edifice of segregation was profoundly shaken. This is an accomplishment whose consequences are deeply felt by every Southern Negro in his daily life. It is no longer possible to count the number of public establishments that are open to Negroes. 10 years ago, Negroes seemed almost invisible to the larger society, and the facts of their harsh lives were unknown to the majority of the nation. But today, civil rights is a dominating issue in every state, crowding the pages of the press and the daily conversation of white Americans. In this decade of change, the Negro stood up and confronted his oppressor. He faced the bullies and the guns, the dogs and the tear gas. He put himself squarely before the vicious mobs and moved with strength and dignity toward them and decisively defeated them. The courage with which he confronted enraged mobs dissolved the stereotype of the grinning, submissive Uncle Tom. He came out of his struggle integrated only slightly in the external society, but powerfully integrated within. This was a victory that had to precede all other gains. In short, over the last 10 years, the Negro decided to straighten his back up, realizing that a man cannot ride your back unless it is bent. We made our government write new laws to alter some of the cruelest injustices that affected us. We made an indifferent and unconcerned nation rise from lethargy and subpoenaed its conscience to appear before the judgment seat of morality on the whole question of civil rights. We gained manhood in the nation that had always called us boy. It would be hypocritical indeed if I allowed modesty to forbid my saying that SCLC stood at the forefront of all of the watershed movements that brought these monumental changes in the South. For this we can feel a legitimate pride.
But in spite of a decade of significant progress, the problem is far from solved. The deep rumbling of discontent in our cities is indicative of the fact that the plant of freedom has grown only a bud and not yet a flower. Before discussing the awesome responsibilities that we face in the days ahead, let us take an inventory of our programmatic action and activities over the past year. Last year, as we met in Jackson, Mississippi, we were painfully aware of the struggle of our brothers in Grenada, Mississippi. After living for 100 or more years under the yoke of total segregation, the Negro citizens of this northern Delta hamlet banded together in nonviolent warfare against racial discrimination under the leadership of our affiliate chapter and organization there. The fact of this non-destructive rebellion was as spectacular as its results. In a few short weeks, the Grenada County movement challenged every aspect of the society's exploitive life. Stores which denied employment were boycotted. Voter registration increased by thousands. We can never forget the courageous action of the people of Grenada, who moved our nation and its federal courts to powerful action in behalf of school integration, giving Grenada one of the most integrated school systems in America. The battle is far from over, but the black people of Grenada have achieved 40 of 53 demands through their persistent, nonviolent efforts. Slowly but surely our southern
Well, he said he wanted to be a dictator for the first day, so we'll see what he does.
79 counties conducted voter registration drives, while double that number carried on political.
We'll see what he does.
In spite of
One thing I've learned and can honestly say I respect about him is
105 persons
it's literally impossible to predict his next move. And that man is slippery.
Primarily a voter registration staff is actually a multifaceted program dealing with the total life of the community, from farm cooperatives, business development, tutorials, credit unions, etc. Especially to be commended are those 99 communities and their staffs which maintain regular mass meetings throughout the year. Our citizenship education program continues to lay the solid foundation of adult education and community organization upon which all social change must ultimately rest. This year, 500 local leaders received training at Dorchester and Penn community centers through our citizenship education program. They were trained in literacy, consumer education, Planned Parenthood, and many other things. And this program, so ably directed by Mrs. Dorothy Cotton, Mrs. Septima Clark, and their staff of 8 persons, continues to cover 10 southern states. Our auxiliary feature CEP is the aid which they have given to poor communities, poor counties in receiving and establishing OEO projects. With the competent professional guidance of our marvelous staff member, Miss Muson Lee, Lowndes and Wilcox counties in Alabama have pioneered in developing outstanding poverty programs, totally controlled and operated by residents of the area. Perhaps the area of greatest concentration of my efforts has been in the cities of Chicago and Cleveland.
Shout out Chicago.
Has been a wonderful proving ground for our work in the North. There have been no earth-shaking victories, but neither has there been failure. Our open housing marches, which finally brought about an agreement which actually caused the power structure of Chicago to capitulate to the civil rights movement, these marches and the agreement have finally begun to pay off. After the season of delay
and while working on GDScript, for some reason it clicked. I finished rewriting a work project in Python, and this past weekend, in about 1 day's worth of work I've been putting off for 2 years. That's a great feeling.
Union organizing, we have begun a $4 million
Once you realize like loops are designed to help you do work more efficiently, you can slowly start to figure out how you can implement them. Because a lot of people's programming and a lot of people's code is really just code that is designed to be efficient, but there's literally functions designed to make you efficient.
Operation Breadbasket. Through Operation Breadbasket, we have now achieved for the Negro community of Chicago more than 2,200 new jobs with an income of approximately $18 million a year, new income to the Negro community. Not only have we gotten jobs through Operation Breadbasket in Chicago,
to more competent. Facts. No, I'm happy.
That was the development of financial institutions,
but you said GD scripts.
Controlled by Negroes and which was sensitive to problems
are you using
of economic
Github?
deprivation of the Negro community. The two banks in Chicago that were interested
Did you build like a
in
dashboard or a
Negro
GUI in Github?
businessmen were largely unable to loan much because of limited assets. Hilo, one of the chain stores in Chicago, agreed to maintain substantial accounts in the two banks, thus increasing their ability to serve the needs of the Negro community. And I can say to you today that as a result of Operation Breadbasket in Chicago, both of these Negro-operated banks have now more than double their assets, and this has been done in less than a year by the work of Operation Breadbasket. In addition, the ministers learned that Negro scavengers had been deprived of significant accounts in the ghetto. Whites controlled even the garbage of Negroes. Consequently, the chain stores agreed to contract with Negro scavengers to service at least the stores in Negro areas. Negro insect and rodent exterminators, as well as janitorial services, were likewise excluded from major contracts with chain stores. The chain stores also agreed to utilize these services. It also became apparent that chain
It's
stores
just Python.
advertised
It
only
uses
rarely in Negro-owned
TTK,
community
Bootstraps, OpenXL, and
This area of neglect
32.
was also
Facts.
negotiated.
That's why I think I
Giving
liked
community newspapers regular,
Godot more, because
substantial accounts.
it was very
Finally,
much
the ministers found that
Python
Negro
to
contractors,
me.
from painters to masons, from electricians to excavators, had also been forced to remain small by the monopolies of white contractors. Breadbasket negotiated agreements on new construction and rehabilitation work for the chain stores. These several interrelated aspects of economic development, all based on the power of organized consumers, hold great possibilities for dealing with the problems of Negroes in other northern cities. The kinds of requests made by Breadbasket in Chicago can be made not only of chain stores, but of almost any major industry in any city in the country.
Python isn't that bad. I mean, if it's within the project file.
If you respect my dollar, you must respect my person.
But also, if you got a path that's 44 lines long.
Money where we cannot get substantial
But no, GD
jobs.
script is cool. But I think it has to work within the system.
In Cleveland, Ohio, a group of ministers have formed an Operation Breadbasket through our program there and have moved against a major dairy company. Their requests include jobs, advertising in Negro newspapers, and depositing funds in Negro financial institutions. This effort resulted in something marvelous. I went to Cleveland just last week to sign the agreement with Seal Test. We went to get the facts about their employment. We discovered that they had 442 employees and only 43 were Negroes. Yet the Negro population of Cleveland is 35% of the total population. They refused to give us all of the information that we requested. And we said in substance, Mr. Seal Test, we're sorry. We aren't going to burn your store down. We aren't going to throw any bricks in the window. But we are going to put picket signs around And we are going to put leaflets out, and we are going to our pulpits and tell them not to sell seal test products and not to purchase seal test products. We did that. Went through the churches. Reverend Dr. Hoover, who pastors the largest church in Cleveland, who's here today, and all of the ministers got together and got behind this program. We went to every store in the ghetto and said, you must take seal test product off of your counters. If not, we're going to boycott your whole store. A&P refused. We put picket lines around A&P. They have 100 and some stores in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. We picketed A&P and closed down 18 of them in one day. Nobody went in A&P.
Dr. King was a fucking menace.
The next day, Mr. A&P
close down your shop. You know how crazy that is? Do you know how, like, how crazy it is for you to be on some, hey, yo, we need you to stop doing this. And they're like, hell nah. We gonna keep doing this. And they're like, all right, bet. If you don't stop, we gonna shut down your whole operation. And you thinking to yourself, how are you gonna shut down my operation? All they did was protest in front of your shop. And you literally didn't make no money that day. Peaceful protesting. This is malice, and I love it.
Is a public relations man representing a number of firms came in. They called him in because he works A&P also, and they didn't know he worked for us too. Bob Brown sat down with A&P, and they said, now, Mr. Brown, what would you advise us to do? He said, I would advise you to take seal test products off of all of your counters. A&P agreed next day not only to take seal test products off of the counters in the ghetto, but off of the counters of every store, A&P store in Cleveland, and they said to seal test, if you don't reach an agreement with SCLC and Operation Breadbasket, we will take seal test products off of every A&P store in the state of Ohio the next day. The next day, the seal test people were talking nice. They were very humble. And I am proud to say that I went to Cleveland just last Tuesday, and I sat down with the seal test people and some 70 ministers from Cleveland, and we signed the agreement. This effort resulted in a number of jobs which will bring almost $500,000 of new income to the Negro community a year. We also said to seal test, the problem that we face is that the ghetto is a domestic colony that's constantly drained without being replenished. You're always telling us to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps, and yet we are being robbed every day. Put something back in the ghetto. So along with our demand for jobs, we said we also demand that you put money in the Negro Savings and Loan Association, and that you take ads, advertise in the Cleveland Call and Post, the Negro newspaper. So along with the new jobs, seal test has now deposited thousands of dollars in the Negro Bank of Cleveland and has already started taking ads in the Negro newspaper in that city. This is the power of Operation Breadbasket. Now, for fear you may feel that it's limited to Chicago and Cleveland, let me say to you that we've gotten even more than that in Atlanta, Georgia. Breadbasket has been equally successful in the South. Here, the emphasis has been divided between governmental employment and private industry. While I do not have time to go into the details, I want to commend the men who have been working with it here. Reverend Bennett, Reverend Joe Boone, Reverend J.C. Ward, Reverend Dorsey, Reverend Gray, and I could go on down the line. They have stood up along with all of the other ministers. But here is the story that's not printed in the newspapers in Atlanta. As a result of Operation Breadbasket, over the last 3 years, we have added about $25 million of new income to the Negro community every year. Now, as you know, Operation Breadbasket